water with a hydration pack, maybe. I don't know.
Yep, and we are together today. Yay.
Mhm.
Early morning.
So here we are in April, almost May.
hmm Tomorrow, May 1st.
Yeah. And so is the year almost half over, or is it what's the better and scarcity
Oh.
way to say it?
Oh man. Well, my May is so full. I call
Yeah,
it
it's gonna go.
May-cember.
Yeah.
That's no scarcity there. Got plenty to do.
And then June hits and that's busy. Yeah, it's life, right?
Yeah.
But let's really leads into our next topic. What if like you've got all these great activities and all these great things, and then you're just going through the motions
Yeah.
and you kind of feel disconnected and you're on overload and you're getting from one place to the other and you're just going through the motions
hmm Yeah.
and you don't really feel like yourself because something feels off or unaligned or
It's wrong.
something's wrong, but it's like just kind of like a little dark shadow. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of following you, right?
Yeah. Like you're showing up, doing all the things you need to do, but you're not really into it, right? You're feeling distant or just not fully there.
Hmm.
Yeah, that happens
Yeah.
probably a lot. Often.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you think of a time?
I can think of multiple
Hmm.
times. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. It's almost like when you're just surviving,
Mm.
right? You're in like let me get through the day. And then it's every day is like that. Let me just get through the day. And then let me get through this week and it'll be better when. And,
Mm.
and that quote, this too shall pass. It's like,
Mhm, and you keep waiting for it to pass, right?
right.
And you're like, "Okay, I'm ready for it to pass. What's
Yeah.
going on? Why can't
Yeah.
I feel? Why can't I enjoy the moment as fully as I want to?" Or
hmm
what the hell?
Yeah. And I think too, like, and so there's that whole thing of like, how do we go from just surviving to thriving? But
Mhm,
in that way, like you have to ask yourself, like, what is going on? Like, why are you feeling this way? Right.
mhm.
When you're going through life not feeling present, it's not good. Right.
Your conversations feel on the surface.
Mhm.
You don't really have time to dive in, or even go deeper,
Yeah.
or you don't have the bandwidth to do it.
Right. The energy.
Mhm,
You're disconnected from your emotions. Things that used to light you up or feel like you just don't feel the same anymore.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it can feel very overwhelming. And it can, like that emotion you feel is overwhelming, but really it's this like we kind of suffer like in silence when we're going through this. Like it's kind of the silent part
right.
of
Because
life.
it's you don't want to get to an event and be like, you know what, I'm not really feeling this. But I'm so glad to see you. We don't share like that. We keep that in and we keep rolling with it, hoping that the next event or the next moment it's gonna pass and you're gonna feel the joy or you're gonna, you
Right.
know,
Right.
or maybe sadness, whatever it
Whatever.
is.
Yeah. And that's why it's easy to just like ignore it, or when you're in those moments you're like,
Mhm.
I don't have time. I don't have time to to feel this either. So
Yeah.
just gonna keep going.
Yeah. And it's not always that obvious either. It almost requires a check-in,
Mhm.
right? Like, how am I feeling right now? And, or you're talking to somebody and maybe you're talking about collaborating or something like that. And then it's not exciting you like it normally would, even though the idea is the right one.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's kind of, yeah, it's kind
Mhm.
of hard to describe, but when you're in there.
Mhm. So we call it like that. That's why it's like the quiet disconnect,
Hmm.
right? You're disconnected, but it's also something that we, again, just internalize and not really externalize, and just kind of go through the motions
Hmm. Hmm.
each day.
And then once we realize it, then it's like, well, I got to fix it. I can't feel like this. Something's wrong.
Mhm,
Right. And then going back to maybe shame, like, why am I feeling like this? And this
mhm.
is silly. And why are you, and then you're not even talking nice to yourself anymore.
Right. Yeah. Something's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? I need to snap out of it. Like,
Mm-hmm, hmm. Yeah, this isn't like me. What's going on?
mhm,
Instead of just maybe just sitting and journaling or just
mhm,
trying to step back.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what so in those moments, like what if you were to just pause? And maybe it's not like when you're at an event, but maybe that evening you're like, what's really going on with me? And pause because maybe it isn't something you have to fix, but it's just something that you have to really kind of settle in with and really dig deeper into and think like,
Mhm.
what really is going on.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be that you're at the point of maybe growth or expansion and
Mhm,
you don't realize it yet.
mhm.
Maybe things are happening around you and it hasn't sat or it hasn't sunk in.
Yeah, and we talked about expansion
Hmm.
uh, in our other lives, and it's like there is a moment. Usually, there's and it might be a couple months, not just a particular moment, but there is something that sparks in you that you're saying, you know, this isn't settling with me anymore. This doesn't feel right anymore. And I'm here, but I'm not here. And it's a lot of times because you are evolving
Hmm.
and that old pattern or the old you doesn't really fit or into what you're creating or to who you're becoming.
Hmm. Hmm. You're in between who you were and who you're becoming. So
Hmm.
you're in that in between phase.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of times it's also in like you've been holding on to a lot and not really processing, right? We just said you're going through the motions. Like
Hmm.
it's going to get better when I just get through this when. And so you're in that go, 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 which is like that fight or flight.
Right.
Hmm.
Which is also could also be the default mode, right? The
Hmm.
default mode of the scarcity of if you focus on what you don't have, then you continually see what you don't have versus what is possible. And when you can make that shift to what is possible, then the negativity kind of falls away. It might creep up a little bit, but then you have another option to think differently.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that could be relationships, that could be romantically, it could be business,
Hmm.
job.
Hmm. Yeah. 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 And a lot of times we're so disconnected from what it is that we want to do or who it is that we want to be with or what it is we want to be doing for our lives, whatever, that we end up prioritizing everything else and everybody else and not really checking in or creating space for ourselves to move forward, to figure out what is in alignment with us. So
Hmm.
we talk about often the pausing and the deep connection with yourself, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But when you're feeling disconnected, um, that's your cue.
It is, yeah, it isn't a problem. It's actually a signal. It's
Mhm,
it's a wake up. Like, let's wake up. Let's figure
mhm,
this out.
mhm.
And again, we're not fixing it. There's not something wrong with you,
Right.
you know.
Right. It's just taking the time to actually do it. And that could be and that timeline looks different for everybody. And there's no really right or wrong. I don't think. Do you think?
No, and don't go on social media because that's what probably stirred it in the first place. The perfect lives.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's really that time to just go deep and go internal. And that could take a while. It could take weeks. It could take months. Um, people have been, if you listen to any like thought leaders or whatever,
Mhm.
like they'll say, like, I had an entire season, so 4 months roughly, of internalizing and going deep and hibernating. Some people go into like hibernation
Yeah.
and they really do. And it's
Mhm.
because they're trying to just reconnect with themselves and get back into alignment,
Mhm,
you know.
mhm. And that feels unfamiliar
Hmm.
and sometimes very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but it doesn't mean it's wrong.
No, nope, not at all.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to boundaries and what do you need to do for yourself and,
Mhm.
you know, taking the time,
Right.
doing things that you enjoy
Right.
and finding out what are those things that you enjoy. Maybe you forgot.
Right.
I know I've had that happen before where it's like, I'm sitting and I'm going and I'm going and I'm going and I'm like, I'm not having fun. What were the things that I did enjoy? And then I have to go back years. Oh, I used to enjoy making stuff. I used to enjoy crafting, making so, those kind of
Yeah.
things. And really just looking at taking that time.
Yeah. Yep. And so, again, like usually this is because the version of you that you're used to being is changing, is shifting, is growing, is expanding.
Mhm.
And so,
And thank you for sharing the Alabama and paracopter. It's
mhm,
true.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
Comparison is terrible, and we feel like we always should be further than we are. And that just doesn't serve anybody. So, again, going back to sitting with it,
Mhm.
understanding your timeline is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's not all about the doing and,
Right.
forcing clarity. I got to sit and meditate for 5 hours and hopefully I'll see a vision,
Yeah.
you know.
No, it's like figuring it, being in alignment with yourself, being true to you. What is it that you see,
Mhm.
and taking the time to really truly understand that, and knowing that whatever comes out of that is okay as long as it's authentically you and not what someone thinks you should be doing, or the shoulds, or what you think you should be doing based on what other people are doing, right? Then the
Mhm.
comparison and all that.
Mhm. Mhm. And to take it a step even deeper, and of course, we are not therapists and we disclose that fully, but sometimes the disconnection happens when there's trauma involved, past trauma. We don't know any better. We don't know any different. And sometimes it takes going to therapy and maybe diving in and digging into those things to try to help you reconnect. If
Mhm.
someone says, "Where do you feel that in your body?" If you're stressed out, where do you feel it? And you're like, "I didn't even know I had a body." Or
Right.
I don't
Or
know.
feelings.
Or I just don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get some extra help to process through those things.
Hmm.
Nothing is wrong with you.
Right. Right. Nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with these feelings. Um,
Mm-mm.
Lean into them. They're telling you something. So pause,
Your
breathe.
nervous system is talking to you.
Yep.
We did a podcast on that too.
Yeah.
Gentle, gentle moments and giving yourself grace.
Yeah. And noticing what it is without judging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without judging yourself, without
Mm-hmm.
shaming yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and really asking yourself, like, what is it that I need? Not what everybody else needs, right? What is it that I need right
Mm-hmm.
now?
Yeah, you don't need to find yourself by pushing harder,
Hmm.
right? Pushing harder is probably what got you to this point in the first place of being disconnected,
Hmm.
because it's not allowing you to step into yourself. It's
Hmm.
allowing you to do everything that you got to do, everything that you have to take care of. You don't have to take care of probably 80% of this or 50% of the stuff you know what I mean? You
Right.
can delegate. And again, that goes back to boundaries and all the
All
other,
the all
but
the other stuff.
yeah, you get to come back to yourself, whatever that looks like. Going for a walk on the beach, being present,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
feeling the sand, smelling the ocean,
Right.
watching the animals, going to the zoo. I don't know, whatever it is that speaks to you,
Yep. Yeah.
taking the time for you.
Yep. Allowing space. And
Mhm.
again, reflecting, going inward and not judging.
Mhm.
Just feeling it.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I guess you guys can ask yourselves, where have you felt disconnected lately?
Mhm.
What part of you, or in what way have you felt disconnected?
If we think about like the life wheel, right? Career, spiritual, financial, what else is there? Something, those, I think of petals because that's what we use. Relationships. Are you feeling disconnected in your relationships? Is it
Mhm.
your partner? Is it your friendships?
Mhm.
Is it your
Career.
career?
Mhm.
Um,
Spirituality. Like
yeah,
there's so many
so
your
many
mission in
facets.
life, right?
Yeah.
Like what is it that lights you up? Yeah, where is exactly. That's a like we love to use that tool, and I think a lot of people do. So I think that's a great way to check in with yourself and see like where is that disconnect in your life, and sit with that, and then why? Ask yourself why. Like
Hmm.
it's not just so why am I feeling disconnected? And once you get to that, it's like, well, what is it that I want?
Yeah.
What am I needing? What do I want? How do I want this to look?
And
Right.
that might feel unattainable. It might feel like the pie in the sky or
Hmm.
the dream that you don't dream anymore because it'll never happen to
Hmm.
me or whatever. But putting it on paper sometimes really does make it possible and make it come to life.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
mean, it's okay. Again,
Hmm.
it's like it doesn't, maybe not all of it is going to come together. Maybe, all the facets of the job that you're looking for, you may not get to all of them, but you can get to probably 90% of them. And what can you live with and what you can't? And that goes with all of this stuff. Like you really can sit and evaluate these things
Hmm.
and create it.
Yeah. And really just ask yourself, like,
It's okay to dream. That's what I was getting at.
absolute.
I forgot.
Yeah.
What was my point? My point was like sometimes we forget to dream because we just don't believe it's possible.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. We always used to say, if you could just take the lid off of your off your head, right? Because that's our we tend to
It's the ceiling. That's the
the
ceiling.
feeling.
Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying? Okay.
we tend to limit ourselves to what we have going on in our brain. If you could just open that up, what are the possibilities? Big possibilities. It's endless, right?
Mhm.
What is that dream that you want? How and and go there. Like really truly go there. Let
Yeah.
yourself feel it, let yourself see it.
Mhm.
But you have to slow down enough to do
To
that.
know it or
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't just keep pushing yourself through life, disconnected, unhappy,
Mhm.
unjoyful. I don't know
Mhm.
if that's a word. Um, and so
We get the point. Yeah.
right. Pause, slow down,
Mhm.
reflect,
Mhm.
dream.
Mhm. You're not broken
Yeah.
and you're not lost
No.
and
Mm-mm.
there's nothing wrong with you.
Right. This is just a moment where in time in your life where you're maybe ready to move on. Maybe something is shifting. Something inside of you is saying, here we are. Let's go forward. We're ready to move on. We're ready to change. We're ready to evolve. Right.
Yeah. And remember, sometimes not feeling like yourself is actually the beginning of finding yourself again. It's that wake up call.
Mm. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Love to hear from you all.
Yes.
Please hit subscribe
Yes.
and we'll be here next Thursday.
And share.
And
Share
share.
us.
Yes, yes, yes. And
Share
share
us
us.
with your friends.
Yes. Share your thoughts.
Anyone who you think needs this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Gentle reminders and gentle nudges.
yep. Yep.
All
All
right.
right.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.